Hi, I'm Dan. Thanks for checking in on Dimgaard, see what's going on there. So, of course, the big news is that we're heading into the final weekend of the Kickstarter, returning after a significant hiatus, over a year and a half since we last released original content. And it's been a great success. We have over 80 backers going into the final weekend, which we're very happy about, right? Yeah, so that's really great news for us. We're excited about that. Um, so the way that the Kickstarters work, usually it takes a few days to get all the payments cleared, and once those are validated, we're ready to distribute. So that those should go out by the 1st of June. The 1st of June, we should have those out to all the backers. I don't know if we're going to make the final stretch goal, and the final stretch goal would have resulted in the re-release of the first episode of the Drow Conspiracy. It would be great if we do, but that may have to wait until a later stretch goal of a later Kickstarter. I don't know. I think we would need something like, I don't know, probably 25 additional backers, and right now we are at 83. So that's a pretty big push. Now, you can do that in the final weekend if folks get hot on their social media. So that would be great if folks were linking us in their Facebook and Reddit and on Discord channels that they're active in. We might make that. I don't have a lot of control over that, though. All I can do is ask. So this is me asking, and it would be greatly appreciated and obviously helpful. And so speaking of the re-release of the Drow Conspiracy, so in the middle of this Kickstarter, I did a poll saying, look, these are the things that we kind of are in the developmental stage that we could finish up for a June release. Which of these do you want the most? And the winner of that poll was the standalone adventures. And so I'm going to hopefully very briefly explain what those are. So in the new content that we're developing, the main storyline is following session-based and story-based advancement, which boils down to 2 sessions and the PC's advanced level after from 3rd level on. So at 5th level, 2 episodes, 6th level, 2 episodes, 7th level. And when you're doing that, as opposed to so there and that works well, and that is the method that we advocate. However, there are a lot of people who like to rely on strictly calculating XP, right? The strict XP model. And so if you are counting down, no, this trap was worth this much XP, and these creatures were this much XP for defeating. And you compare that to the session base, you end up with this misalignment. In order for the XP progression to remain in sync with the story base and session base, basically you got to squeeze in an extra episode about every 3 levels, right? And so that's what these came from. They came from that misalignment. So that every 3 levels, like for example, at 5th level, by that point there are some specific in the main story. There's the opportunity to take say, okay, we're going to have this additional adventure, and to qualify for this additional adventure, you need to have a captive who has the qualities necessary, because these are really bad guys. So the civil authorities and the religious authorities are going to be okay with you trapping their soul in a magic item for an indefinite period of time. That's like the ultimate form of capital punishment in Dimgaard. So there's a standalone adventure to take a master smith to this elemental vent, in this volcano, and use that as the catalyst for developing a permanent magic item for the PC. And so, that scenario isn't attached to any main story. That could be in Tales of Ordning or Drow Conspiracy, anywhere, right? We could add that as a 5th level to 6th level. I think it's optimized for 5th level, and so you could drop it in 4th, 5th, or 6th level. So it's decoupled from the primary storyline. And so in the new development, we have those about every 3rd level, right? The party isn't to 20th level yet, so we haven't really fully play tested the final one in that series. So, and then as I also mentioned, we are planning on reissuing the Drow Conspiracy as a complete volume early next year. And as a part of that, so the Drow Conspiracy was even more accelerated. It was 1 session, 1 level, right? So 20 sessions gets you to 20th level, and then there was a 21st session for 20th level. So what we're doing there is, for each level, we have these independent stories. Although these are clearly more influenced by the Drow Conspiracy, like they skew very heavily towards Drow bad guys. It's not like just general bad situations and bad people. The one other thing I want to point out about these are full sessions, right? Like even though they are very concise, they fit on 1 page as opposed to like a typical Dimgaard adventure will span like 4 to 5. Once you actually get past the introduction and are in the adventuring, you end up with about an hour per page. So you end up with like about 3 to 5 pages for a typical Dimgaard adventure. These are a solid 4 hours that are presented on 1 page of the adventure. Got my doggo here exploring around. She knows I'm distracted and thinks she can take advantage of the situation. But anyway, so by June, like we've already got several of those done because once I saw the polling coming in, I saw what we need to do. So those by June we should have maybe as many as 11 of those edited and ready to go. And that will be the June Kickstarter. That'll be the content release. Also, we are reinvigorating the Patreon, the Dimgaard Patreon, and we're going to. So in the process of creating this content and revamping our old stories, we end up generating a lot of these standalone augmented to augment the storylines. So we can easily release enough of those per month to justify a Patreon, restarting our Patreon, and then we will be releasing additional content through the Patreon and the Kickstarters, new monsters, new magic items, standalone encounters as opposed to full adventures, those type of things. And we will release those in a mix of Kickstarter stretch goals and Patreon levels. And again, just to finish up, to summarize, I wanted to thank everybody for their support. It's been a really nice reintroduction. And yeah, and we're good to go. We're glad to be back productive. If you, and I close every one of these in the same way, and that is an invitation to reach out to me with advice, criticisms, or if there's something you want to know about Dimgaard, or if you wanted to engage in a discussion about D&D in general. Yeah, email me, post me a message on any of the forums, even Kickstarter or Discord or Reddit or wherever you're active. Feel free to engage me as you are inclined. It's always welcome. And with that, we are going to get into the final weekend of the Kickstarter. Thanks again for everything.